गिरिधारी शिशि राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन जीव की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत सुषमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज शिव गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यालप विष्णु विष्णुपार शुतर शुत सुषमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यावल्लभ विष्णु विष्णुपार शुकर शुत सुषमार भक्ति भक्ति वेदांत साई महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यावल्लभ विष्णु महाभागवत शिल गोक्षर बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नित्यावल्लभ विश्व शिव सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यावल्लभ विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम शिव जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौरिया गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ षाड गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल पौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अविश्व प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री मुन देवी गंग देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी गंग देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय श्री भजन रहस्य की जय। श्री चैतन्य शिक्षाष्टक की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। हरे कृष्ण। मंगलाचरण and then begin. ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धांत Sorry, I don't know what. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Vidito Gaudiya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogor Sankirtanay Maya Bharati Mingilo Daragatan Udritya Jiva Niman Krishna Prema Sudabdika Hana Sukham Pradat Prabhum Tam Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaur Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samraja Radharasa Sudha Nidhim Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaur Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutkale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vrishabhanusutan Vitavamatanam Yamuna Tatanagarananda Sutam Murali Kalagita Vinoraparam Bhajagodrumakanana Kunjavidum Smaragoragadadarake Bhavagorgadadarapakshacharam Shrinugorgadadaracharukatam Bhajagodrumakanana Punjavidum Tavaivasmi, tavaivasmi, na jivami tvaya vina. Iti vigyaya devi tvam, nayamam charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshaya, shiftascha kamar vitaram gamatye. Kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna, vrinde namaste charanardavindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Saruparaya Sangha Harsha Shesha Ghoshanam Shikshanashtakakya Krishna Kirtanai Kaposhanam Prema Nama Matra Vishwa Jivanaika Samparam Prema Dhama Devameva Naumi Gaura Sundaram Premodbhavita Harsheryo Dvega Danyarti Mishritam Lapitam Gorachandrasya Bhagyavadhir Prabhur Shikshashtak Shlok Jai Pore Shune Krishne Prem Bhakti Tar Bare Dine Dine Shikshashtaka Chinta Koro Smarana Kirtan Krame Ashtakala Seva Habe Uddipan Sakala Anartha Jave Pabe Prem Dhan Chaturvarga Phalgu Pray Habe Adarshan. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Champak Mataji, and all the devotees watching on YouTube and Facebook. All right, so yeah, today we will go. I think we will finish the second chapter of Bhajana-rahasya. Let's see how it goes, though. Right now, before I started, I copy and pasted this Bhajana-rahasya that we've been reading from. Well, which we just recently started looking at. It's on the website Bhaktivinoda Institute. I was just using it because it has translations of the Bengali and no commentary. So it's just easy to see the verses one right after another. And then with my Srila Gurudev's Bhajana-rahasya, then you can go more deep. But anyways, I wanted to get an overview of this. And so I just now pasted this into Google Gemini. And let's see what it came out with. I haven't actually looked at it yet. I like very briefly glanced at it, but I didn't actually read it all. So let's see. I just asked it to give me a summary of this chapter. So yeah, I'm just making the text big. Let's see how good, let's see how good this is. Okay, so this chapter, summary of Bhajana-rahasya chapter 2. This chapter, titled Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana, focuses on the morning period of worship from 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., emphasizing the elimination of spiritual obstacles known as anarthas and the association of saintly persons. I should have asked it to make this summary for Gaudiya Vaishnava, so I didn't have to over-explain things. Anyhow, this chapter begins by extolling the glories of the holy name of Krishna. It states that the Lord has invested all his potencies into his various names and has made them accessible to everyone without any strict rules regarding time or place for remembrance. Despite this, the text notes that misfortune prevents one from developing a natural affection for the holy name. It is asserted that all the power found in religious duties, sacrifices, yoga, and knowledge has been placed within the holy name by Krishna himself. A significant portion of the chapter is dedicated to defining and categorizing anarthas, which are described as the root cause of the soul's bondage in the material world. These obstacles can only be removed through direct devotional service. What is it? Shakshad Bhaktiradhokshajay or something like that? Okay. The text identifies 4 primary types of anarthas. Tattva Vibrama, Asat Trishna, Hriday Dorbalyam, and Aparaya. So Tattva Vibrama is further divided into 4 categories. Misconceptions about one's own identity, the supreme truth, the spiritual goal and process, and opposing elements. So that's philosophical misconceptions. Then Asat Trishna. This includes that's thirst for temporary things. So this includes desires for worldly things, heavenly pleasures, mystic powers, and liberation. Then Hriday Dorbalya, weakness of heart. This manifests as attachment to insignificant things, deceitfulness, envy, and the desire for prestige. And then Apara, defenses. These are offenses against Krishna's name, his form, his devotees, and other living entities. A detailed list of 10 offenses against the holy name from the Padma Purana is also provided later on, right? So this chapter outlines 2 methods for overcoming these anarthas: an indirect method and a direct method. That's the Vyatirek and Anvaya. The indirect method involves avoiding negative behaviors, such as overeating, associating with worldly people, speaking unnecessarily. That's Vacha Vegam, Manasakroda Vegam. No, that's Atyahara Prayasasya. It also stresses the importance of controlling the urges of speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals. Conversely, one should cultivate positive relationships with devotees by sharing gifts, confidential talks, and sanctified food. So that's Tadati Pratigranati Puyanakatati. This direct method involves so that was all the indirect method. Now the direct method involves actively cultivating spiritual practices. This includes understanding the true nature of Krishna, his potencies, and the individual soul. A key practice is to chant the holy name with faith in the association of advanced devotees. One should honor all who chant the name, bow down to initiated devotees, and serve pure devotees whose hearts are free from criticism. Yes, that's Krishneti Yasa Giritan Manasatireta. Did we go over that verse yet? I can't remember. I think so. No, we didn't. The text recommends a balanced approach to renunciation known as Yukta Vairagya, where one uses material things in Krishna's service without personal attachment. Finally, the chapter concludes by providing a specific meditation for the morning period. It describes the early morning pastimes of Radha and Krishna, encouraging the practitioner to meditate on these scenes while chanting the holy name. This practice, combined with the sincere effort and weeping at the feet of the holy name, is said to remove all anarthas swiftly and awaken the higher state of bhava. Okay. So that was a summary, and then it gives topics and verse references for an overview, class overview. So first section is, well, there's the okay, now this part is helpful. That part was okay. That was an okay summary. I think that was a pretty good summary, but this will be more helpful. Introduction. So it begins with the power of the holy name. The topic of this first section is the eliminating obstacles through association with saints. Okay, so sorry guys. Let me just so text 1 is about how the Lord invested all his powers into his name, making it accessible without rules, yet misfortune prevents our attachments. Then text 3, all potencies from vows, austerities, and sacrifices are present in the holy name. Then text 4 says, there are no restrictions of time, place, and cleanliness for chanting the holy name. And then the second section is understanding anarthas, obstacles to devotion. The cause of the soul's bewilderment and suffering, which can be removed only by bhakti yoga. That's the top. So then Verse 6, the soul, though spiritual, is bewildered by illusion and suffers from anarthas. There are 4 types of anarthas: philosophical misconceptions, thirst for temporary things, weakness of heart, and offenses. Then the 4 categories of anarthas explains, and it's text 8 is about Tattva Brahm, text 9 is about Asat Trishna, text 10 is about Aparad, and text 11 is about Hriday Dorbalya. Then the next topic is eradicating the anarthas. The indirect and direct methods. So the twofold approach to purifying our consciousness. So text 15 gives the introduction, that verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, the last verse of Chatushloki. Introduction to the direct and indirect methods, Anvaya and Dvitīya. Now begins with the indirect method, what to avoid. Negative habits and associations that destroy devotion. So text 16, controlling the 6 urges. Text 17, the 6 things that destroy bhakti. Text 19, associating with materialists is worse than drinking poison for the sincere devotee. And text 23, the 10 offenses to the holy name that must be avoided. So those are just some key verses, but it doesn't have the Dati Pratigranati because I guess that doesn't relate to the indirect method. But yeah, now the direct method, what to cultivate. The positive practices that build a strong foundation for devotion. So text 28 to 30 is about cultivating knowledge of Krishna, his energies, and the self. Then, and also it goes into Achinta Beta Beta Tattva, so that's like Sambandha Tattva, right? Then text 35 is the 6 practices that enhance bhakti. So that verse from, Utsaha Nishchaya Dharyat from Upadeshamrita. And text 36 to 37 is the importance and method of associating with devotees. Then 38, practicing proper renunciation, Yukta Vairagya, by using everything in Krishna's service. And now, so that was what to avoid, what to cultivate, and then finally the ultimate remedy, taking shelter of the holy name in Sadhu Sangha also, right? I think that was. So then text 27, constant chanting of the, why does it give text 12 though? Anyways, chanting the holy name, even unconsciously, can free one from the cycle of birth and death. And text 27, constant chanting of the name can destroy even offenses made against the name itself. Yeah, how do we destroy Namaparad? By chanting more. Then text 43, one must abandon anarthas and take shelter of the name with exclusive devotion at specific times of day. And then the last verse is a description of Radha and Krishna's morning activities. Okay, so I think that was pretty decent summary. I mean, we could totally make this better, but I think this is a good starting point. I should have done this at the beginning of the thanks. I was just trying to read through the verses on my own every day and wasn't really doing. Yeah, anyways, this is helpful. So where did we leave off yesterday? I can't even remember. Let's see. I think we left off with Yukta Vairagya. Oh, and Haribo, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Chatamaya Mataji, and Hari Prabhu, Bhavatavini Mataji. Okay. And also all the devotees watching the teachers. I forgot. Shashi Devi, Jayade Prabhu, Manjari Didi, Krishna Rose, Revati Didi. Okay. So, yeah, so we were going through the Anvaya, all the favorable things that we must accept. Let's just start from here, though, from text 37. I think we read up to this point. Actually, no, let's start from this. Text 36. Satam Prasangam. This is such an important verse. The gradual development of bhakti through the association of genuine sadhus is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 3:25-25. It goes from the very beginning, from Shraddha, all the way up to Prem. This happens how? Satang prasangam mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha tajjoshana rashvapavarga vartmani shraddharatir bhaktir anukrameshyati. Let's see if I can explain the Sanskrit. Let me try. Satang prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha. So, I'm going to be speculating here also. Okay, so just letting you know. Don't take everything I'm saying as like totally authoritative. But satang prasangam, by associating with sadhus, and it says prasanga. I think pra means prakrishta rupena. Like, so it's not just any like hanging around sadhus, but by this powerful associating in the right way with faith, having faith in their words, trying to follow them with sincerity, so prasanga of the satam, of the saintly, the pure devotees. This is Krishna speaking to Devahuti, right? Third canto. I think so. Yeah. Mama virya samvido. My heroic, virya means heroic, right? Samvido are my valorous. I think samvido is like discussions, like sambad, right? Rayananda sambad. So discussions of my heroic deeds or something like that. Then bhavanti. These topics, this harikatha, bhavanti, it becomes hritkarna rasayana katha. So this katha, these topics become like a rasayan. A rasayan is a nectar tonic, right? Like my Gurudev put out that, there's that book, Bhakti Rasayan. So it is a nectar tonic for the hrit, for the heart, and for the ears. So taj joshanat. So by hearing that harikatha, by taj joshanat, by consuming that harikatha, I think it's like that. Taj means that. It refers to that harikatha. And joshanat, by cultivating that, by consuming that, by hearing that harikatha, ashu, very quickly, apavarga vartmani. Very quickly, you'll proceed along the path, the vartma of apavarga. Apavarga means, well, there's like, it means transcendental, right? There's the pavarga, which is, have you ever heard the explanation of pavarga? There's pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. In the alphabet, it goes, in the Sanskrit alphabet, there's the ka varga, the ka varga, the cha varga, the ta varga, and then you finally come to the pa varga. And so the pa varga is pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. And so it begins with, what was it? Oh God, Purishram, I think. Purishram. So there's, in this material world, you first endeavor great, like you work so hard. There's a lot of effort, Purishram. And then Pena, you work so hard that you start to foam at the mouth. You're just completely exhausted, foaming. That's Pena. And then, what is Ba? Oh God, I forgot what Ba is. Anyways, and then I forgot what Ba is. Then there's boy. There's boy, which is fear, and then mrityu. So this whole world is, you just work so hard, you start to foam at the mouth. I forgot what Ba means, and then all of a sudden you're afraid. Oh my God, I'm about to die, and then you die, and that's all this world is. And so Apavarga is beyond that. It transcends this material world of suffering and death. And so it's you ascend that, like you proceed along that path to the transcendental world that is free from all of that. And this happens in sequence, anukramashiti, gradually. First you go through Shraddha, Sadhusanga Bhajana-kriya Dvitīya Nishcharuchi Asakti, and then finally come to Rati, that's Bhav. And then from Bhav, you'll finally give up your body and take birth in Krishna's pastimes and attain Prem Bhakti. So it goes all the way from Shraddha all the way to Prem Bhakti. And this gradual sequence, if you follow this step-by-step path of being in following the sadhus and hearing their Harikatha and following that Harikatha, that's what this verse means. Okay. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Sadhu Sange Hoy Krishna Katha Rasayan Tahe Shraddha Rati Bhakti Krame Uddipan. Okay, this is a shortened version of what we. And then I think we read this. Anyways, let's just reread it. So the Bhajana-rahasya vritti. By great fortune, the living entity wandering throughout material existence may attain that kind of sukriti which bestows bhakti. When this sukriti accumulates over many births, it gives rise to faith, to shraddha, and exclusive devotion. When shraddha arises, the desire to associate with pure devotees and true saints manifests. And by this association, one will gradually develop a taste for sadhana and bhajan. When anarthas are removed and this shraddha becomes pure, it transforms into nishtha, which in turn, when pure, transforms into ruchi. The beauty of bhakti makes this ruchi very fixed, and it turns it into asakti. Gradually, this asakti gains perfection and transforms into bhav. When bhav combines with its corresponding components in the right proportion, ras appears. This is the gradual development leading to the appearance of prema. So a Madhyam Bhakta renders service to the three kinds of Vaishnavas. Sri Upadeshamrita 5 states, Krishneti asya giritan manasadriyeta dikshashchichet pranati vishya bhajantamisham shushrushraya bhajana vegyamananyamanya nindari shunya hridamipsita sangalabhya. And Haribol Vidyalala Savidi. So that person who utters Shri Krishna's name by just once calling out, "Oh Krishna," is a neophyte devotee. That person's a Kanishta Adhikari. And one should offer him respect within one's mind. That person who fully understands the principle of Diksha, has accepted Diksha from a qualified guru, and performs bhajan of the Supreme Lord in accordance with Vaishnav conventions, is an intermediate devotee, a Madhyam Adhikari. One should respect such a devotee who is endowed with the correct understanding of reality and illusion by offering obeisances unto him, and so forth. That person who properly understands the science of bhajan, as described in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Vaishnava scriptures, and performs exclusive bhajan of Sri Krishna, is a Mahabhagavat. Due to his undeviating absorption in Krishna, the pure heart of such a devotee is free from faults, such as the tendency to criticize others. He is expert in bhajan, which means he is skilled in the method of remembering Radha Krishna's eternal eightfold daily pastimes through Manasi Seva, service performed within the mind. Knowing him to be a Mahabhagavat, whose heart is established in the particular mode of service to Shri Shri Radha Krishna, for which one aspires, so knowing him to be a Swajatya, he has the same mood, and who is affectionately disposed to oneself, is Susnigdha. One should seek his association, considering it to be topmost. One should honor him by offering prostrated obeisances, making relevant inquiry, and rendering service unto him with great love. Let's go to this Bhaktivinoda Institute thing. Krishneti. Okay. So the Bengali says, অক্ষয় তবে কৃষ্ণ নাম যার মুখে শুনো, মনেতে আদর তারে করো পুন পুন। ভক্তি সম্প্রদায় লভি যে কৃষ্ণ ভজে, আদর করহ পরি তার পদ রাজে। স্বীয় পর sorry, স্বীয় পর বুদ্ধি শূন্য অনন্য ভজন, যাহার তাহার সেবা করো অনুক্ষণ। But it's পর বুদ্ধি শূন্য. Okay, para buddhi shunya. So that means looking at others, like criticizing others, in other words, right? Like thinking others to be, I don't know, let's see. Hearing someone chanting Krishna Nam without duplicity, one should mentally offer them respect. Again, they should offer him respect again and again. If they have accepted a devotional sampradaya and performed bhajan of Krishna, then one should bow down respectfully and take the dust of their feet. If one meets someone who is devoid of the mentality of us and them, and is engaged in exclusive bhajan, then you should serve them at all times. Actually, it doesn't say you should, you should, you should. It's just saying, it's giving instruction. It says, yeah, honor those who chant Krishna Nam without duplicity. And yeah, like that. Offer pranam to those who, like that. Anyways, let's read the commentary now. Bhajana-rahasya priti. Because the Mahabhagavats see everything as related to Sri Krishna, they look upon all with equal vision. They are devoted to Krishna bhajan, like the Madhyam Adhikari, and intent on chanting the holy name, like the Kanishta Adhikari. The Madhyam Adhikaris have prem for Sri Krishna. They offer appropriate respects to the three levels of devotees by rendering service, offering obeisances, and offering respect mentally. They always endeavor to turn the conditioned living entities towards Sri Krishna, and they are indifferent to those who are averse to Sri Krishna. However, they do not possess equal vision like the Uttam Adhikari Mahabhagavat, and if they deceitfully imitate him, they will very quickly fall down. The Kanishta Adhikari knows that the name of Sri Krishna is supremely auspicious, and therefore he takes shelter of chanting the holy name. He does not understand, however, that the position of the Madhyam Adhikari is high, and that he should strive to reach that level in the future. Sometimes the Kanishta Adhikari considers himself a guru, and consequently falls down. Therefore, by carefully offering appropriate respects to those Vaishnavas who are more advanced than he is, he should take shelter of the holy name. Okay. Kind of want to go through, anyways, I'm not going to do that now. Let's just move on. We should finish this chapter. So, I was going to say though, in our Param Gurudev's biography, there was somebody brought forward a doubt with this verse. Krishneti yasya giritan manasadrita. There's a discussion with my Param Gurudev and Srila Bhakti Rakshak Srila Goswami. Should we read it? No. Let's continue on. Sorry, guys. Okay. So now one should chant the holy name while we're maintaining one's life by yukta vairagya, the mood of appropriate renunciation. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-255 states, Anasaktasya vishayan yatarham upayunjata nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktang vairagyam uchyate. Appropriate renunciation is to accept objects favorable to one's service while being detached from what is unrelated to Sri Krishna and attached to what is related to Krishna. Let's see, one should chant the name maintaining one's life along with the process of Yukta Vairagya. It is mentioned in Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu. This is the translation they give here. When one is unattached to material objects, yet accepts them in relation to Krishna, this is known as Yukta Vairagya. So this is from Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu 1-125. Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Jatha Jogya Vishay Bhog Anasakta Hoya Sajukta Vairagya Bhakti Sambandha Koriya. Enjoying the sense objects as need be, devoid of any attachment, while remaining connected to bhakti, is the most appropriate type of renunciation. That's sujukta vairagya. And Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he talks about this in, let's see, in the song Dushtamantmiki Sara Vaishnav. Instructions to the minds. Let's see. Just prepared this recently. Here it says, Jata Jogya Bhog Nahi Tataro Anasakta Se. No, let me do it the correct melody. Jata Jogya Bhog Nahi Tataro Anasakta Se Kiyara Koho Asakti Rahita Sambandha Sahita Vishaya Samoha Sakali Madhava. So where only appropriate necessities are accepted, there is no disease of attachment. Such a person is detached. What more can be said? Free from worldly attachment and situated in his spiritual relationship, he sees all things as belonging to Madhava. Shejukta Vairagya Taha to Sobhagya Tahai Jareke Hari Ravai Bhava Kirtane Jahar Pratishta Sambhar Tahara Sampatti Kevala Kaitava. That is Yukta Vairagya. Indeed, that is true good fortune, for in that, the Lord's opulence manifests even within matter. But for a person whose kirtan is a means to collect prestige, his wealth is nothing but hypocrisy. Okay, so that's Yukta Vairagya. And so I think now it's going to continue on this point of Yukta Vairagya in Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's see this, verse 39. Text 39. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 7:11-32. Further states, Vritya Svabhava Krittaya Vartamana Swakarma Krit Hitva Svabhava Jankarma Shanair Gunatam Iyat. One who maintains his occupational duty, his swadharma, by taking shelter of his innate propensity, will gradually become detached from these activities and become situated beyond the material modes. Swabhava vihita vritti koriya ashray Nishpapa jivane koro Krishna namashray So take shelter in that occupation prescribed by one's nature. Lead a life devoid of sin, of pap, and take refuge in Krishna Nam. If one engages in his profession according to his nature, then by gradually giving up his actions that are born of the modes of material nature, one eventually attains the stage of nirguna, beyond the modes. Now the trick to do this, what does it say? The trick to do this is here. Pranavrit, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.7.39. Pranavrittaiva santushyen munirnaivendriya priyay jnanam yatha nashyeta navakiryeta vangmana. I have taken a lesson from how the vital force within the body operates, that one should eat and drink only as much as required to sustain the body. A sadhak should also eat only what is needed to maintain his life. He should not enjoy sense objects merely for his own gratification. Otherwise, his intelligence will become corrupted, his mind restless, and his speech engaged in topics unrelated to Sri Krishna. And this translation says, a muni should be satisfied simply with that which maintains his life and should certainly not gratify the senses. In this way, his knowledge is not ruined and his speech and mind are not agitated. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Aprajalpe koro pran vritti angikar indriyer priya vritti na koro shikar vag indriya mano gyan jahe swastya pai e rupata hare jukta vairagya na jai. Do not gossip, and accept that which keeps you alive. Do not accept activities that pander to the senses, but only those that make one's sense of speech and intellect healthy. In this way, that will not abandon yukta vairagya. That's interesting. Do not accept activities that pander to the senses, but only those that make one's sense of speech and intellect healthy. Bhag indriya manogyan jahe swastya pai. Swastya means what makes them healthy. Very neat. Okay, so now one should be especially careful about one's association. So that was the topic of Yukta Vairagya. Now we move into the topic of Sangha, who we should associate with. What time is it? We still have 10 minutes. Okay. Hari Bhakti Sudhodoy 851 explains that one should be careful about whom one associates with. Yasya yat sangati pungso manivat syat satar guna swapulardhay tato dhiman swayutan yeva sangshrayet. A person develops the qualities of the company he keeps, just as a crystal reflects the color of those objects that are brought into its proximity. Therefore, by associating with pure devotees, one can himself become pure. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Swajuter mangal o anye rakhidur jatha sangad jatha phal paibe prachur. Auspiciousness is attained amongst one's own group. Sajuter. So auspiciousness is attained amongst one's own group and by keeping others at a distance. As much as one associates with them, one will attain results in abundance. That's a weird translation. Swayuter mangal o anya rakidur. I think it's saying, to the extent that you associate with your own people, in your own, yeah, with your own group, there'll be mangal. And anye rakidur, and you keep others who don't have the same mood as you, like not in our line of our Guru Varga, we keep them far away. We keep others far away. But we should be in our own yuta, in our own group. It doesn't mean just our own, it doesn't mean our own, like, I'm this group and you're that group. It doesn't mean sectarianism like that. But it means we should be in the company of those who have the same aspiration as us. Right? We all want the same thing. We all want to become Rupanugas. And so we're following in this line. So we keep that association and we keep others at a distance. And then we'll have auspiciousness. And to that extent that we associate with these people, we'll attain the fruit. What is the fruit that we are striving for? We're striving for Krishna Prema. We'll attain that fruit in abundance, profusely. Let's see what the Bhajana-rahasya vritti says. Association with devotees, sadhu sangha, is a source of all auspiciousness. Where the scriptures give the instruction to remain in solitude, it means only keep sadhu sangha. Yes, that's also a big topic in this song, Dushraman Tumiki Sera Vaishnav. But what is nirjan? What is solitude? He says, your aspiration for bhakti, Vaishnavera das, tava bhakti ash, keno vadakicho nirjana ahava. Your aspiration for bhakti lies in becoming a servant of the Vaishnavas. So why have you invited this challenge of solitary practice? Okay. So now, the next verse. One should carefully traverse the path of the Mahajans. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu states, with great effort, one should follow the path delineated by the Mahajans. This is described in the Skanda Puran, and it's quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-100. Samrigya Shreyasan Hetu Pantasanta Pavarjita Anabhakta Shamam Purve Yena Santa Pratasthire. Only by following the path upon which previous great personalities, upon which the Mahajans have easily traversed, only by that can we find ultimate auspiciousness and freedom from all suffering. The acquirement, and then where Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's verses, then it gives this verse here. The acquirement of knowledge by hearing from scriptural authorities is the real path of bhakti. The Brahma Yamala states, and this is quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-101, states, Shruti Smriti, this is a famous verse, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidingvina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpatayaiva Kalpate. One can only attain the one-pointedness, or Aikantika Bhav, of pure bhakti, by adopting the path of the previous Mahajans. It cannot be attained by leaving the path of the Mahajans and creating another path. Because Dattatreya, Buddha, and later preachers were unable to understand pure bhakti, they accepted only a semblance of this transcendental sentiment. Dattatreya mixed it with impersonalism, and Buddha with atheism, and thus they set forth useless paths, describing them as one-pointed devotion. In reality, however, the paths promoted by these people are not Hari Bhakti. They are simply a disturbance. And let's see. I think this is the meaning of the Sanskrit here. Let's see. Without, Vina means without the vidhis, the regulations, the rules which are described in the Shrutis, in the Smritis, in the Puranas, and in the like the Pancharatra, Narad Pancharatra, etc. So whatever aikantiki, whatever one-pointed devotion to Hari that you try to engage in, it will only kalpate, it will only create utpat. Eva means only. It will only kalpate, it will only create utpat. Utpata. Utpat means utpat means disturbance. So if we don't follow the rules of scriptures, whatever kind of, this is so important because lots of devotees think, oh, we must engage in Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti means no rules. But this verse completely destroys that conception that, oh, Raganuga Bhakti is just, means that you don't follow any rules and that you just do whatever. It means, Raganuga Bhakti means what you're doing is not, it's not out of fear of following the rules. It's not just because of the rules. You do it out of love, but it doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden out of line and not following the rules. It doesn't mean like, yeah. So this verse explains that. And also Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he also explains that very clearly in another verse coming up, which we'll go through. Yeah, most people have this misconception about what Raganuga Bhakti means. Okay, so let's see this translation here. It says, devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, the Puranas, and the Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. And it doesn't just say which ignores the Vedic literatures, it says it which ignores the rules, the vidhi, the prescriptions of these literatures. So then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Purva Mahajanapate Chale Anayase Navapate Utpata Asya Jiva Nashe. The simplest path is that traversed by the previous Mahajans. Any new path is a disturbance which will bring ruin to the jiva. Anartha nashir jatna kabu nahi jar, naam kripa nahi pai durdaiva tahar. One who does not endeavor to remove anarthas will not attain the mercy of the name and will achieve misfortune. Naam kripa bina koti koti jatna kore, tahate anartha kabo nahi chhade tare. Without the mercy of the name, one may make millions of attempts, yet those anarthas will never leave. Nishkapata jatne kande naamer charane, dur hoy anartha tahar alpadine. Making a sincere effort, if one weeps at the feet of the holy name, then anarthas will leave in a few days. Anartha chadiya koro shravana kirtan, ekanta bhavete lo namer sharan. Abandon anarthas and engage in hearing and chanting, and with exclusive bhav, take shelter of the name. Then the next section, this must be done with full endeavor. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Let's just read our Gurudev's commentary here, and then we'll end for today. So, Bhajana-rahasya vritti. In the Ragamarg Bhajan, there is no consideration of the rules of the Shruti, Smriti, Puranas, Narad Pancharatra, etc. The only consideration is to follow the inhabitants of Braj. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that they're going out of the rules. It doesn't mean that they're not, it's not impelled by the rules, right? They aren't thinking, oh, it's because in the Shrutis it says this, so I have to do this. It's automatic, it's natural, it's all being done out of rag. The only consideration is to follow the inhabitants of Raj. But for sadhaks eligible only for Vidhi Marg, it is necessary to adopt the path of devotion as presented by the Mahajans, such as Dhruva, Prahlad, Narad, Vyas, and Shukra. Thus, there's no other means for the Vaidya Bhaktas except to follow the path of saintly persons. Without the mercy of Namprabhu, those who perform bhajan will be unable to give up their anarthas, even after millions of attempts. But if one sincerely weeps at the lotus feet of Namprabhu, all one's anarthas will vanish within a few days. Giving up one's anarthas in this way, one should hear and chant, having taken exclusive shelter of the holy name. And then this is the last verse of this section, before the Leela verse. Endeavors made in performing resolute bhajan are described in Hari Bhakti Leelas. And in this section, this is what we were reciting every day in our program. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says a very interesting thing. What does he say? Wait 1 second, let me just find this and then we'll end. Here, this one. Ekanta bhaktir kriya mudra rago dita tathapi sheshab nahe vidhi viparita. Says, the activities and symptoms of such an exclusive devotee arise from rag, yet none of them contravene the rules of Shastra. So this is making it very clear that it doesn't mean that those in whom rag udita, in whom rag has awakened, has appeared, their kriya and mudra, their activities and behavior and what I don't know what the word for mudra. Anyways, it is not vidhi viparita. It is not against the rules of scripture. It's just not impelled by the rules of scripture. They're not doing it because, oh, Narad Pancharatra says I have to do this, and so I'm doing this, and this scripture says I have to do this, and I'm doing this. But they are just doing it out of rag, out of love for Krishna. But it's not going outside the rules of scripture. So those people who say, like, they can watch a movie and then perform bhajan or whatever, and they're like, oh, it's Raganuga Bhakti, I'm not so rigid about all these rules. That's a complete misunderstanding of what that means. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is making it very clear, and also that verse that we might do. So, all right, that's our program for today. Vaijanti Mala Mataji was mentioning to me the other day that she when she was in Australia, she made a list of all the things that she's heard devotees say about Raganuga, and she gave a bunch of examples of ways that people would use the word Raganuga, and then she went through and showed in Gurudev's books how, like, how Gurudev said the complete opposite of this. And yeah, because it's something that people misunderstand. Well, I don't know where these balloons came from. Sorry. Anyways, it's something that people misunderstand often. Yeah. So, all right, we'll end our program for today. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shri Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Swaparsha Ji Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopu Gopigan Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrindadevi Ki Jai, Jai Shri Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Shri Bhajana-rahasya Ki Jai, Jai Shri Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka Ki Jai, Shri Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Vrindai Tulsidevai Priyaya Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyashva Kripa Sindhu Bhyaeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Dandavat Pranams Gri Hari Prabhu Bhavatarani Mataji Nanda Nandan Prabhu Champak Mataji Vidya Lala Sadiri Indira Mataji Raseshwari Mataji and all other devotees on YouTube and Facebook and all devotees watching in the future like Shachi Devi Jayade Prabhu Revati Didi, Krishna Rose, Manjari Didi, and everybody else. Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for joining. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before we end our program for today? All right. Oh, actually, I'm not going to be joining tomorrow because I'm traveling to Jaipur. I'm going for a Janmashtami program. But I'll do a program the day after tomorrow on Janmashtami. So, yeah, see you all the day after tomorrow. Right, Hari Bol, Jai Shri Radhe.